The movie begins by showing Alex and Rosie's childhood, where they are a pair of true friends who understand and care for each other. Even Rosie always tries to be a good listener when Alex tells about his strange dreams and imagination. 12 years later, Alex and Rosie are seen as adults and having a party at a bar. At that time, Rosie is so drunk that she gets carried away and kisses Alex with eyes full of love. But after that, she fainted. The next day, Alex came to Rosie's house to confirm the situation. With a happy smile, he slightly revealed that last night's incident was fun but not for Rosie because she felt embarrassed and thought last night's kiss was disgusting. However, this disappointed Alex because deep down, he really loved her. The scene changed, showing Alex and Rosie playing with their school friends on the beach. Suddenly, there is a boy named Steve starts to flirt with Rosie. At that time, Alex was so jealous but tried not to show it. After that, Rosie revealed that Steve asked her to be a partner at the school farewell party, but for Alex's sake, she refused the invitation. Suddenly, one of the hot girls named Bethany came and started teasing Alex. At that time, Alex deliberately praised Bethany's beauty for making Rosie jealous. Still, Rosie acted as if she didn't care and suggested that he invite Bethany to a school farewell party. In the end, they disappoint each other. The next morning while taking a school exam, Alex texted Rosie to tell her about his date with Bethany last night. At first, Rosie responded casually while taunting him, but when he revealed that he had slept with Bethany, this made her shocked and look so annoyed. Sometime later, Alex and Rosie attend a school farewell party, where Alex is paired with Bethany while Rosie is with Steve. Soon the two couples started dancing and showing their affection for each. When on the sidelines of the party, Steve and Rosie decided to sleep together. However, unfortunately, Steve, who was still a beginner, accidentally left his safety in Rosie's genitals. Because of this, she panicked and rushed to ask for Alex's help, so he quickly took her to the nearest clinic. After the incident, Alex revealed his plan to continue studying medicine in Boston. He asked Rosie to come along and major in hospitality according to what she had dreamed of. Hearing this, Rosie happily agreed. The scene changes, showing Rosie trying to persuade her parents to allow her to study in Boston. At first, her mother refused and asked her to study at the local campus, but she didn't give up and met her father. After trying to convince her father, Rosie finally got permission to continue her studies in Boston. Sometime later, Rosie received a letter stating that she had been accepted at a faculty in Boston. She looked so happy and headed to Alex's house to tell the good news. However, when he got there, Alex's younger sister, Kakam, asked her to wait and said that her elder brother was currently doing very important work. However, it turns out that Alex is having fun with Bethany, so Rosie chooses to go home. On her way home, Rosie felt unwell and decided to buy medicine at the local pharmacy. After telling her about what she felt, the pharmacy guard named Sylvie suggested Rosie take a pregnancy test. At first, Rosie refused because she always took birth control pills regularly, but Sylvie explained that this was not a guarantee, and it was true that after testing, she was positive. Rosie, who was very upset, tried contacting Alex to come to see her. But he was having dinner with Bethany and her parents. Knowing this, she could only remain silent and spend the night full of sorrow. The scene changes, showing Alex meeting Rosie at a cafe and expressing his success in entering a faculty in Boston, so he asks her to start packing to go with him. But Rosie, who didn't want to disappoint Alex, had to lie by saying that she would come after solving her personal problems. Sometime later, Rosie accompanies Alex to the local airport, where she seems nervous and unprepared to lose him. Before parting, they hugged each other and were about to kiss, but again their selfishness hindered their feelings. After that, Rosie told Sylvie about her feelings for Alex. She expressed her disappointment for becoming a mother at such a young age and giving up all her dreams. Hearing this, Sylvie suggested that Rosie give up her child for adoption so that way she could return to study and pursue her dreams with Alex. A few months later, Rosie gave birth at her home with the help of a local midwife. At first, the atmosphere there seemed so panicked, but when the delivery process was over, Rosie and her parents were happy with the presence of a baby girl named Katie. Before the midwife adopted Katie and took her away, they asked Rosie to hold her first. But when she saw the innocence on Katie's face, Rosie suddenly couldn't bear it and decided to take care of her. After that, Rosie lived her life as a single parent, which was very tiring. But luckily her father always accompanied and motivated her to be patient in dealing with all of this. One morning when Rosie was taking Katie for a walk, she accidentally ran into Bethany. Rosie, who felt embarrassed, tried to hide, but Bethany continued to follow her, causing her to fall, and she couldn't avoid it anymore. The scene then changed, showing Rosie tidying up Katie's clothes. Suddenly, she heard someone knocking on the door and it turned out to be Alex, who was on college vacation. Rosie, who was panicking, tried to hide all of her baby's equipment, but it turned out that Bethany had told Alex about her current condition. Then she invited Alex to see her baby. When he looked at Katie, Alex asked her about Steve, her baby's biological father. Rosie replied that Steve suddenly disappeared after knowing of her pregnancy. Hearing this, Alex asked Rosie for permission to be Katie's guardian, and she agreed. After that, they went to the beach, and there Rosie revealed why she never told Alex about her pregnancy, so he wouldn't worry about her and instead leave his dream. The scene changes, showing Alex, who has returned to Boston and is trying to get rid of his emotion by drinking in a bar. Soon after, a man named Phil came to convey greetings from his very sexy older sister, Shelley. As time passes, the scene shows the lives of the two friends. Alex is now in a relationship with Shelley, while Rosie, accompanied by Sylvie, always pours out her love for Katie. Even so, they always communicate and share happiness with each other. A few years later, the scene shows Sylvie and Rosie currently working at a hotel, where Rosie is a cleaner while Sylvie is the receptionist. When Rosie was cleaning a hotel room, she accidentally saw Bethany, who has become a successful model in a magazine, making her jealous and annoyed. The scene changes, showing Alex having just finished his dinner with Shelley. There, Shelley, who is very sensitive to disgusting things, reminded him to always maintain cleanliness and not to say the slightest harsh words. Still, Alex thought it was too much, making an argument between them. Especially when Alex told her about all his weird dreams, Shelley didn't really care, which disappointed him. After that incident, Alex contacted Rosie, who was on the beach with Katie. After telling her all his dreams, he asked Rosie to come to Boston, and without thinking, she went straight. Arriving in Boston, Alex invited Rosie to a party, then they spent a wonderful time walking, enjoying the city's beauty until they rested in a park. There, Rosie began to signal her feelings for Alex, but unfortunately, he didn't respond and instead took her somewhere. After that, Shelley invites Rosie to have dinner together, and there Shelley reveals that she is currently pregnant with Alex's child. This disappointed Rosie, even though she tried to cover it up. The next night, Alex invites Rosie to an art exhibition. But soon, Shelley asks him to go, making Rosie feel empty, so she decides to leave the place. At the same time, Alex tries to stop Rosie and apologizes for all his mistakes. Still, Rosie, emotional and jealous, reveals how chaotic Alex's life is, who has to be a sycophant for success. Her words made Alex emotional, and he accidentally said that his life was much better than hers, who had young children without a partner. Hearing that, Rosie returned to her home with a feeling of sadness raging in her soul. In the middle of the night, Rosie didn't know what to do and accidentally sent a picture that Katie had made to Steve, so that the next morning he unexpectedly came straight to see her. There Steve begged Rosie to take him back. At first, Rosie refused because she was still hurt by him, who had the heart to leave her just like that. But for the sake of Katie, who always misses her father figure, she finally wants to give him one chance with the condition that he treats Katie kindly and buys her the most expensive pink shoes. The scene changed, showing Rosie, Katie, and Steve spent their time happily. One day while playing on the beach, she saw Steve's body, which was very sexy. It made her eyes darken, and she asked him to sleep with her. As time passed, Rosie and Steve finally decided to continue their relationship to the wedding level. Then she did not forget to invite Alex to her wedding. But for some reason, he didn't come, which made her sad. While at the hotel, Rosie tries to call Alex's residence, but Shelley picks up the phone instead. She finally finds out why Alex didn't come to her wedding, where Shelley reveals that she and Alex had separated right when Rosie was having her wedding. But what surprised her even more was that the baby Shelley was carrying was from an affair with an artist, not Alex's child. Several years have passed, and it seems that Katie is already a teenager, and now she is always accompanied by her best friend, Toby. But that made Rosie remember her memories with Alex when she was little. Sometime later, Rosie was seen accompanying her parents, who were on vacation somewhere. The scene changes, showing Rosie at work but accidentally meeting Bethany. Bethany then told about her busy life as a model and that soon she had to visit many cities, including Boston. Hearing the city of Boston, Rosie suggested she meet Alex in Boston. Arriving home, Rosie got a call from her mother informing her that her father had a heart attack and died. Hearing that, she was instantly stunned with tears in her eyes. The scene changed, showing Rosie and her family undergoing the funeral process for her father. But right after the funeral, Alex came and tried to entertain her, but Steve got annoyed and cursed at him and asked Rosie to come home. The scene changes, showing Alex at the airport and about to return to Boston. There, he sent a love letter to Rosie, but unfortunately, Steve found the letter, then hid it from Rosie. Alex, who never received a reply from Rosie, tries to send a message to her asking if she is happy living with Steve. She replied to Alex's message and said that her life with Steve did not always go smoothly. Suddenly, a woman appeared and hugged Alex. The scene changes, showing Rosie arriving at the hotel where she works. Sylvie then told Rosie that she found a reservation for a bridal suite on behalf of Steve at the weekend. Rosie was very happy and thought the room was prepared by him to celebrate their wedding anniversary. But not long after, Steve called her and said he couldn't go home tonight because he had a meeting with a client. Rosie began to get suspicious and asked Sylvie to double-check Steve's booking details, which turned out to be he had checked in 2 hours ago at the hotel. Accompanied by Sylvie, Rosie went straight to Steve, and she hid him right in front of his mistress. After that, Rosie went home and started throwing away all his belongings until she found a letter from Alex that Steve had hidden. In the letter, Alex said that Rosie deserved a man who loved her with all her heart and was always there in good times and bad. Then he expressed regret because he had wasted the opportunity to get Rosie. After reading the letter, Rosie tried to contact Alex via video call, but it turned out that the one who picked up the call was not him but Bethany. Rosie finally finds out that Bethany is his girlfriend, and soon they will even have a wedding. The scene changed, showing Rosie telling Sylvie everything. But she said it was not too late because she was sure that only Rosie was in Alex's heart. Therefore, Rosie, Sylvie, Katie, and Toby rushed to Boston to thwart Bethany and Alex's wedding. But unfortunately, when they arrived in Boston, Alex and Bethany's wedding had just finished. In the evening, in front of many invited guests, Rosie had the opportunity to convey a message to Alex. Then she revealed everything in her heart, and she was very sorry for wasting all the opportunities that existed in the past. Even though Alex now belongs to Bethany, she will always sincerely love him. The party continued onto the dance floor, and Rosie saw Bethany and Alex's intimacy. She could only look away and lament all her sorrows. The next morning, Alex and Bethany took Rosie and the others to the local airport. At the moment, he couldn't stop looking at Rosie, while Bethany looked annoyed and jealous of his attitude. The film closes by showing Rosie's life a few years after attending Alex's wedding. With support from Sylvie, she finally realized her dream of building a hotel by the beach. Several months later, Rosie's hotel was officially open with a small celebration with her family and relatives. But suddenly, Rosie was surprised by the arrival of Alex, who was about to book a room there. Rosie, who looked awkward, then asked him where Bethany was. He replied that now he and Bethany had separated. Hearing this, Rosie smiled and escorted Alex to the room he ordered. It was in that room that they finally expressed their love for each other. The moral that can be learned from this movie is that true love will always come back.